If North Korea and the United States go to war, how long could North Korea last? A potential war between North Korea and the United States would depend on various factors and complex variables, making it difficult to predict the exact outcome. However, by considering military capabilities, economic strength, strategic conditions, external support, and international public opinion, we can assess a range of scenarios regarding how long North Korea might be able to sustain itself in such a conflict. Below is an expanded analysis of this question. 1. Comparison of military capabilities. The military strength of the United States. The United States possesses the most powerful military in the world. Its strengths lie in its advanced and highly sophisticated weapon systems, extensive military resources, exceptional intelligence gathering capabilities, and strong alliances across the globe. The U.S. operates cutting-edge equipment such as aircraft carriers, stealth fighters, and missile defense systems. Moreover, the U.S. excels in achieving air superiority and conducting precision strikes, which are critical in modern warfare. Its cyber warfare capabilities further enhance its ability to disrupt enemy communication networks and defense systems. The military strength of North Korea. North Korea has a large standing military, but much of its weaponry is outdated and lacks modernization. However, it possesses significant asymmetric warfare capabilities, including weapons of mass destruction, nuclear and chemical weapons, and ballistic missiles, capable of threatening not only neighboring countries but also the U.S. mainland. North Korea is also likely to employ guerrilla tactics and irregular warfare to counterbalance its conventional military disadvantages. 2. Factors influencing the duration of the war. North Korea's strategy. North Korea would likely focus its efforts on inflicting maximum damage in the early stages of the conflict. Its initial strategy would involve deploying large-scale firepower, targeting South Korea and U.S. bases in the region. Additionally, North Korea could use weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missiles to create psychological and physical devastation. However, North Korea's limited resources and economic capacity would make it challenging to sustain prolonged military operations. The United States strategy. The United States would likely aim to neutralize North Korea's key military facilities and command infrastructure early in the conflict by leveraging its air superiority and precision strike capabilities. The U.S. strategy would prioritize minimizing North Korea's ability to retaliate, while simultaneously preventing the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Additionally, the U.S. would work closely with allies such as South Korea and Japan to contain North Korea's military movements and diplomatically isolate it on the global stage. Role of South Korea and allied forces. If a conflict were to break out on the Korean peninsula, South Korea would become the epicenter of the war. South Korean forces would play a critical role in defending against North Korea's initial attacks and launching counter-offensives. Japan is also likely to support the U.S. by providing military bases and logistical assistance, further strengthening the Allied response. 3. How long could North Korea hold out? Initial engagement. In the early stages of the conflict, North Korea could put up significant resistance for 1 to 2 weeks. By leveraging its firepower and asymmetric capabilities, it might target South Korea and U.S. bases using ballistic missiles, long-range artillery, and special operations forces. However, the U.S. and its allies' superior air power and precision strike capabilities would likely destroy much of North Korea's critical infrastructure in a relatively short period. Medium to long-term scenarios. If the United States successfully disables North Korea's key military facilities and economic infrastructure early on, North Korea's ability to resist would weaken rapidly. Given North Korea's fragile economic foundation and reliance on limited resources, sustaining the conflict beyond a few weeks or months would be extremely difficult. A prolonged war would likely lead to severe logistical challenges for North Korea, further diminishing its resistance. Possibility of guerrilla warfare. If the conflict were to extend into a prolonged engagement, North Korea could resort to guerrilla tactics and irregular warfare. Its mountainous terrain and extensive underground military facilities could pose significant challenges for U.S. and allied forces. These tactics would likely aim to prolong the conflict and increase the psychological and physical costs for the United States and its allies. 4. The role of external actors. China and Russia's involvement. Historically, North Korea has relied on support from China and Russia. However, in the event of a full-scale war, direct intervention from these nations is unlikely. Instead, they may provide indirect support, such as resources or diplomatic backing. China, in particular, would be cautious about a conflict on the Korean peninsula, as it could destabilize the region and harm its own security and economic interests. Similarly, Russia is more likely to offer limited support, while considering its global diplomatic standing. International public opinion. The use of weapons of mass destruction or large-scale civilian casualties could significantly influence international public opinion. If such incidents were to occur, there could be greater pressure from the international community to end the conflict through diplomatic means. Conclusion. If North Korea and the United States were to engage in a full-scale war, North Korea could initially offer strong resistance, but would struggle to sustain its efforts in the long term, due to its economic, technological, and military disadvantages. In the first 1 to 2 weeks, North Korea could inflict significant damage on South Korea and U.S. bases using its firepower. However, the superior airpower and precision strike capabilities of the U.S. and its allies would likely weaken North Korea's military capabilities swiftly. In the event of a prolonged conflict, North Korea might turn to guerrilla warfare and asymmetric tactics, creating additional challenges for the U.S. and its allies. However, North Korea's limited economic resources and logistical constraints would make it difficult to sustain such tactics for an extended period. The outcome of the war would also depend heavily on external variables, including the role of China and Russia, international public opinion, and the use of weapons of mass destruction. These factors could influence both the duration and resolution of the conflict.